Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Joined with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Yellow.
And Jehu.
Christian, your face did some funny things while you were doing that intro.
I was, out of breath, but wanted to do it on
It felt like you were trying to channel somebody from beyond.
I don't know about that. This is totally off topic. I have thought lately it would be really fun to do the intro. Have you guys ever watched the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? No. The dude who does the introductions for Joey Chestnut are incredible. What made me think of this on topic, because we're doing Barbenheimer, was last year he quoted the Oppenheimer speech, but made it about Joey Chestnuts and his ability to eat 70 hot dogs in a minute.
Well, I mean, you just sold me on this program.
Dude, you got to watch it. Just don't need to watch people eating hot dogs. Just watch the announcer introduce Joey Chestnut.
Also, you're driving, so you can try this whenever you want.
Yeah. But we're doing Barbenheimer. We're doing both Barbie and Oppenheimer. We're doing it in that order, Barbie and then.
Well, I was going to ask: does ladies first? Does that feed to the patriarchy, or is that respectful?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I think it depends on probably who you ask.
I'd say alphabetical, so Barbie still goes first.
I like that.
It's funny. I was thinking on the way over how we very often miss things. We decide to do a thing exactly when it's over. But this time, the Barbenheimer thing is still going strong. It's still what everyone is talking about.
We're going into week 3 because we're slow. It's hard for me to make time to see 2 movies.
I mean, that's
one of them's 3 hours.
Correct.
Right. We're going into week 3, but it feels like there's no signs of either of them slowing down, really.
I mean, week 2, me and Sarah had to make multiple trips to the Ridge, where movies do not sell out, to see Oppenheimer because it kept selling out.
I was about to say, I made an effort to go see it in IMAX, and I could not get into an IMAX one that wasn't sold out.
I went on a Tuesday at 7 p.m., and I get 7 p.m.'s prime time showing, but I still didn't anticipate it to be nearly as full as it was.
Barbie, on the other hand, we saw that shit opening night.
You saw it opening night?
We saw it opening night.
All right.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn fun.
So, before we get into it, Margot Robbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, and produced by her and Noah Baumbach, which is still the most incredible combination of things ever. Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, who else am I forgetting? Will Ferrell.
Issa Rae, America Ferrera.
America Ferrera. That's a good one, because I have feelings about America Ferrera in this movie. And, of course, film follows, there's Barbie Land and there's Real Land, and Barbie has to travel, stereotypical Barbie, has to travel from Barbie Land to the real world to meet the girl who's playing with her and find out why her life is being turned upside down. What do we think of this movie?
So I've got 2 long-winded stories that are unrelated to each other that I do feel like I have to lead with.
Okay, go for it.
So the first one is I also made an effort to do the actual Barbenheimer, which was difficult because, again, it's hard to even find a showing of Oppenheimer you can get into.
Right.
And so what I selected was a 9:30 a.m. showing, which was a godsend, on a Friday morning.
Right.
And
did you take off work?
I did take off work. I have so much leave, guys.
This is the best part of working remote. I never took off when I worked remote.
And so you guys know I've been working from home for about 3 years now.
Right.
And I don't know, there are certain parts of your brain that you just don't use anymore. When you've been working from home for a long time, you don't see anybody all day. Things you just don't worry about. And so I can tell you that as I'm going to my 9:30 showing of Barbie into a completely empty lobby, I had Bayou 15 to the 2 female concession stand workers, and I realized halfway through that my fly is way down. I feel like the biggest fucking pervert that's ever goddamn lived.
Look at my dick, ladies.
And again, the 9:30 Barbie movie.
Yeah.
And the worst bit after that is I realize it halfway there, and then suddenly I'm aware of it. I'm in open space. There are 2 women actively looking at me. There's nothing I can do about it.
You can't address it.
I can't do anything
because then you're making them look at you.
And also, because I've been in this situation before, you also can't just zip up.
No, that's what I...
You can't do it. You can't address
it. That's what I...
Because then you're really saying... Look at my
So then I spend the rest of the walk up there trying to figure out how do I walk in a way that draws the least amount of attention to my dick. A thing that I'm almost positive that I failed at. Anyway, so not an experience I would highly recommend.
Did they call you out on it?
They did not, but I think we were all aware of what was happening there.
I tell you this right now. I so relate to this because I've worked at home for like 3 or 4 years now too, and I had an almost Niles Crane-esque sense of decorum in public. And now I'll just all the time catch myself scratching my junk like a baseball player, with people around. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's just because I'm used to not having any reason not to.
So my second one is kind of the beginning of my review.
I'm glad we're starting talking about y'all's penis.
For sure. That seems...
for Barbie.
That does feel appropriate, right? So, we'll talk about more specifically the things that I felt about this movie. But when I immediately came home from it and talked to my wife, she asked me how it was, and I was like, it was good. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be, but it was good. And that was the end of the conversation. We didn't really talk about it. A full, 36 hours later, we're just, going to sleep, the lights are out, I'm actively trying to avoid the existential crisis that is bombarding me every night before I try to go to sleep. And then just out of nowhere, my wife says, do you think you just didn't get Barbie because you're not a woman? And I want to get that out front because that is, we're three fucking middle-aged guys on a podcast talking about fucking Barbie. We're exactly who the Barbie movie is making fun of and not the people it is for.
Oh, God.
So that said, we're going to do our fucking best, but I assure you, as the listener, we get it.
The thing is, though, I don't think you missed this one or didn't enjoy it as much because of sexism. I think it's just a crowd movie. Mm-hmm. I think you got to see this one with people. Now, that saying, I watched this movie with a lot of people, and I totally got its message. It's about tearing down the patriarchy and, giving women the space to be who they are without having to conform to what men want them to be. And that's why it's so fucked up that all I'm going to talk about is how awesome Ryan Gosling is.
Isn't he so good?
He just kills in this movie. He's a guy who, I always think Ryan Gosling is handsome, of course, because he is. But I guess because the Ryan Gosling movie I watch the most over and over is almost a wordless performance, that I forget that he's really fucking good. But he's really fucking good in this. He just kills.
Yeah, I do want to, I'll say a couple of things about it. I think the movie's pretty good. It's not as great as I wanted it to be, but I don't have very many complaints about it.
Right.
I appreciate that they did not take the easy road. They could have just made a Barbie movie.
Right.
And they don't. They make a movie that, like you're talking about, handles the societal pressures of women and even the history of Barbie. And I respect that Mattel kind of allowed themselves to be the butt of the joke, but also
100%. It's
kind of not.
Kind of not.
But I mean, it's crazy that,
they even tread those waters.
Hasbro wouldn't let you make any jokes about them and Ronald Reagan brainwashing children in the 80s. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think they still did a good job of letting themselves be poked fun of a little.
To the point that you talked about, I just want to say it's something for me. I watched it with my wife. My wife's crying. I'm cracking up the whole time. I think it's hysterical. However, there was 2 points in this movie where I was absolutely called out, which is, number one, the dad sitting on the couch doing the
100%. I'm so glad you brought that because in my theater, again, there's only 6 people at 9:30 in the morning, but the rest of them were all women. And the biggest pop for a making fun of the men joke was the Snyderverse or the Zack Snyder one for them. But the Duolingo thing, just the earnest self-satisfaction of the dad on the couch doing the Duolingo hit me so hard. I laughed so fucking
God, it hurt so bad. And then number 2, the obsession with Push by Matchbox 20.
Dude, it's almost mean-spirited how good Ryan Gosling was at singing that song. I know they were making fun of it, but it wasn't just that. It's he hits everything about that song so correctly that it's kind of hurtful. Particularly since, what's his name?
Rob Thomas.
He's totally a good guy. And he's a good sport about this, apparently. He's it wasn't a surprise to me. I knew that my song was going to be the butt of the joke.
I like this movie. It's better than Transformers.
It's better than Transformers.
And the 2 leads are great.
Yeah.
It is funny that you guys were so on about this movie and you're just kind of ho-hum about it, whereas I fucking loved it. I had a sincerely great time in this movie.
I mean, I think I could talk about a bit more what I didn't like, but again, it just didn't like blow me away. Like,
Right.
I wanted it to be my favorite movie of the year,
Right.
Yeah.
and it wasn't that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want? I don't know if there are spoilers, but we want to just jump into
I think
whatever
there's
spoilers are. Sure.
Yeah.
So I will say that I think one of the things that I guess didn't appreciate
Right.
about it is that I felt like I think they made brave choices. I just never felt like I feel like we could have gone more.
Right.
And we always I feel like the best way I can describe it is like we were treading water, but we never swam.
Right.
With a lot of different ideas, and I probably would have been okay with that. The other thing, about halfway through the movie, going to the America Ferrera part, I felt like she should have been the main character of the
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And once I didn't know that, until I started watching it, and then we're in it, and I'm like, oh, the movie should be about her. We should be
Right.
spending more time with her and kind of using Barbie through her gaze,
Right.
which we are, but again, we're treading water, we're not swimming. I
Right.
would have gone all in on that idea.
Right. It's funny, American Ferrera. I hated the daughter for the first chunk of the movie, and then they gave her the best line in the entire fucking movie, and I was like, oh, never mind, she's great. The men hate women, women hate women. It's the one thing we have in common.
Yeah.
That line, it didn't kill for the rest of the theater, but it killed me.
I mean, the best line in the movie is Mojo Dojo Casa House. That's the best line in the movie.
Going to the beginning of this movie, it felt like in the beginning it was going to be two different movies. It was going to be a movie for kids and a movie for adults. The kids were just getting the jokes in the opening scene, whereas the adults were like, oh, this is a cool 2001 parody. And I like that they cut that shit out pretty soon after that. It quickly became just one movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, it reminded me a lot of Gremlins 2. Have you guys ever watched Gremlins 2?
No.
You guys should really watch Gremlins 2, Tom. You know how Gremlins is like a safe, scary movie for kids that kind of makes fun of scary movies a little bit? Gremlins 2 is a parody of Gremlins 1. And this reminded me a lot of that. It was almost while it was making this movie, making fun of this movie that it was making, but it also had an earnest point to make. And I don't think you see a lot of movies made about plastic toys that work on that many levels.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they do that. I do, again, this is where I kind of disagree with you. I wanted more of the 2001 parody thing. I thought that was hysterical.
Right.
I wanted more of that, and especially because that was advertised in the trailers. That's kind of more what I anticipated the movie to be.
Right.
Having said that, that scene is immediately followed by my favorite bit in the entire movie, which is that Lizzo opening song. And I realize Lizzo's been canceled in the last 48 hours or whatever. But
What did Lizzo get canceled for?
bro, it's a story.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'll
that's
tell
going to
ya.
break Sarah's heart.
Yeah.
Actually, she'll probably just stay on Lizzo's side. Unless she stomped a cat to death, Sarah's probably going to stay on Lizzo's side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird stuff, but whatever. The changing of lyrics and everything each time she's going, I was
very good
on the floor.
Yeah.
It was hysterical to me. All the music, the pop music in this is great.
Yeah.
That Dua Lipa song is so fucking catchy.
Right.
Joseph, you're not talking it.
I kind of just felt like this is a fine movie, which is kind of my problem with it. So I don't actually have that many opinions about it. I'm mulling over your thought about America Ferrera should be the main character, because I can see how that would be a more compelling movie, but I feel like the point that they were trying to make was we're experiencing that women experience the world differently, and the ideas of feminism from somebody who's never even thought of it before, and just waving that in. So I think from that perspective it makes more sense that Barbie is
no, I get it. I get that. Yeah,
but I can see how you're right. That would be a more
Bringing up an example near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
Didn't we all, when we watched Transformers, wish that Optimus Prime or Bumblebee was the lead character instead of Sam?
I don't know if I agree with that.
I like that my point was we should make it start with a normal human being in a relatable circumstance with a relatable set of emotions, and you're that's the same thing as wanting to be a giant ass robot, right?
No, what I'm saying is, that we could have made it America Ferrera the main character,
which would have been
but
Sam Witwicky and
we've
Transformers.
done that a lot. Usually, that's how we always do this.
Yeah.
We always think that the audience has to see themselves.
Yeah.
To relate to the situation. And I've always been opposed to that, so maybe that's one of the reasons why this landed so well for me.
Yeah, I just think that... Let me defend it, since you two are tearing it down a little bit. I think, to Joseph's point, absolutely, the point of the movie would be, let's look at feminism and the patriarchy through the eyes of someone who doesn't even know those concepts can exist.
Right.
I get that is the point of the movie. The more interesting thing for me was watching a person who struggles and suffers within that, one, not only kind of not overcome, but have this realization that helps the other person, like, because Barbie gives in. She falls victim. She's overtaken by it. She becomes what America Ferrera's character has been, and America Ferrera's character and her daughter are what helped bring her out of that. And I just would have liked to spend more time. Now, were we given enough information? Sure. Agree on all the points you're making.
Right.
I'm just saying that was a more interesting and compelling story to me than the Barbie one. Though I will say, Barbie coming into the real world for the first time, having that conversation with that old woman, and then like really experiencing emotions for the first time. Margot Robbie is...
Oh, she's so good.
She's fucking great.
Excellent.
But hey, back on how great Ryan Gosling is. I just love how quickly he turns from Barbie is his whole world to, I could be in charge and I could have a horse. Which, by the way, we're both wrong about what the best line in the movie is. The best line in the movie is, I sort of gave up on the patriarchy as soon as I realized it wasn't about horses.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was a fun twist.
Yeah.
And it's played perfectly. And again, like, I feel like, though, they kind of undercut that moment with the Barbie apologizing to Ken bit. I didn't really like that part.
Right.
I do think that, yes, Ken was ignored and his feelings should be validated and all that. But also, that doesn't mean he deserves her.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was the...
Which I think was definitely... I'm glad it stopped at that part. I'm glad.
I agree with that, too. I just wanted someone to be like, but you were also kind of an asshole.
Right.
You stole my house and basically enslaved all of my friends.
Right. There was a middle ground.
And I don't feel like we really got there, personally. But
by the way, another thing that I don't know if someone younger than me would agree that this was the best choice, but it was the best choice once Ken turns it into a raging sexist, that the arcade machine he has in his house is Mortal Kombat 2. Not Mortal Kombat 1, not Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 2. Very on board with that.
Yeah, that whole bit was super funny and great.
I was trying to think when they go through the whole sequence, when the patriarchy comes to Barbie Land, what I would dress like if nobody told me what I was supposed to dress like. Because I was like, I don't think it would be a giant mink coat and leather pants, but would it? I don't know.
Did you guys kind of expect there to be another shoe with Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
He was so silly and so otherworldly. I kept waiting for he was actually from Barbie Land too. But, I don't know how that would have played in the whole story, so I guess I'm glad it didn't. It just seemed like they were like, hey, let's just let Will Ferrell show up and be Will Ferrell. Who cares if it really works in this story?
Again, I just didn't feel like we teased like Mattel as being this kind of like dark evil corporation.
Right.
But then not. That when he said he supports the dreams of girls, he meant it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that was a weird choice.
In the least creepy way possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was a massive negotiation on where the line had to stop, and it was right there, I imagine.
We're going to make you appear bad, but you're not really the bad guy of this movie. It's Ken.
I'm honestly, where I saw this movie 2 weeks ago, I'm surprised how much I'm remembering about it. But I was super pissed about the last end of the movie until it was a setup for a joke. Mm-hmm. Like when she decided to leave Barbie Land, I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. Stay in this place that's changed now for the better. Mm-hmm. Like, don't go to the real world. But when it was all just to set up for a vagina joke, I'm like, okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, that was a great bit. And
it was the last line in the movie. The last line in the movie was about a gynecologist. I love that.
Hashtag feminism.
Anything else?
I hope they don't make a sequel. I know they will, because it's made an ass ton of movie, but I don't see how...
Ass ton of movie.
ass ton of money. But I just don't see how they could push this concept any further.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll definitely try, bro.
Right.
I mean, again, it's got a great cast. Too many people, almost.
Right.
Like, you cast Kingsley Ben-Adir, who I think is a pretty good actor. I'm not going to watch Secret Invasion, but anything else I've seen him in, he gets like one line of dialogue in it. Nakushi Gatwa, I mean, he's not really a big actor yet. He's about to be, because he's about to be the fucking Doctor.
Right.
Just a lot of fucking...
What other men are in this movie, Christian?
Shang-Chi? John Cena? There's not enough famous women in it.
I forgot like the most important part of this entire fucking movie.
Alan.
Does Michael Cera ever get cast in anything anymore that he isn't cast that it's funny that Michael Cera is playing this part?
No, that's
his whole thing now. And don't get me wrong, he was fun in this movie. I just like, if you look up Michael Cera's IMDb, you know how they have those 4 movies up top that's the 4 things they're known for? They're all from 2008 on Michael Cera.
For like, sure
I mean, but no, he was pretty great.
I want to challenge your premise here for a second, by the way. I was fucking stoked to see Rhea Perlman in this fucking movie.
I know, right?
Dude, I'm marked out for Rhea Perlman. Although, on the other side of that, I may have blurted out, it's Danny DeVito's wife! So maybe I don't win on that one. But, But yeah, man, I guess I'm really surprised I liked this movie so much more than you guys. And I know you guys don't dislike it.
No, it's better than
But
Transformers.
I would go see it again tomorrow.
I really think you guys should try to see it with a crowd. Again, going back to Transformers, I have that story of I watched the first Transformers movie the first time screening it by myself and thought this is fucking ridiculous. And watched it the next night in a sold-out auditorium. It's like, this is fucking great. So I think there's certain movies that are for a crowd, and this is a crowd movie.
Yeah, I probably had 15 people in my theater. It wasn't much. And 2 of those were myself and my wife. So.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I liked it. Again, I will probably watch it many times over. I laughed a ton. Part of it was just personal expectation. Those trailers I thought were fucking excellent.
Right.
And everything about this movie had me really excited. And it just didn't live up to my expectation, and that's my fault, not Barbie's fault.
Yeah, I totally agree. At the end of the day, for me anyway, it was just a movie.
Yeah. That brings us to the second half of this cinematic journey. Oppenheimer.
Yep.
Following J. Robert Oppenheimer, basically, leading up to the Manhattan Project and through it, and then how did he fall from grace so quickly and so publicly during the McCarthyism, Red Scare. Again, just a stacked fucking
cast.
Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., fucking Alden Ehrenreich for a reason.
Yep.
Dane DeHaan.
For a reason. Who I said, is that kid from the Metallica movie? And it was.
It was.
Yep.
He looks even creepier now.
Florence Pugh.
Jack Quaid. And Florence Pugh's boobies are in this movie.
Let's just say, first of all, when we're talking about the cast, this movie had all the handsome yet off-putting men in it.
Okay.
Every single one of them.
Pause for a second. Josh Hartnett should be Batman, right?
Well, yeah, no, totally. He was almost
Superman.
He was almost Batman too. He auditioned for Batman Begins. He turned it down.
If you're doing mid-40s Batman with children,
totally.
It should be fucking Josh Hartnett.
I had just assumed that something bad had happened to Josh Hartnett's face over the last 20 years, which is why we hadn't seen it. But no, that guy looks fucking good.
Right. Yeah. It looks like he's maybe hit the HGH a little bit. He's way fucking bigger than I remember.
Yeah, he looks cooler than he ever looked.
Yeah.
So you know how if you're listening to like NPR and they're doing a story about like Apple, they've got to say we need to mention that Apple is a heavy investor in us. So I feel like I have to get this bias I have about Robert Oppenheimer out here. Robert Oppenheimer probably killed my grandfather.
Whoa.
But by waiting to 1987 to kill him, he made sure there was a Jehu.
Can we hear the story behind this?
So Odell, you know how they talk about in this movie that there was an invasion force that was training to go in that the bomb prevented.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Odell was part of that invasion force, and when they didn't have to invade, instead what they did was went there for cleanup. And like everybody that Odell served with all died like 85 to 87. They all just started dropping off of cancer. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about him, but I'm mostly positive because for the most part, I've liked being Jehu.
Yeah.
How did we feel about this movie?
Oh, God, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I don't want to give you guys another second. This movie is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, it is fucking great.
Hang it up in the Louvre. It's incredible.
I 100% agree.
Whoa, I completely disagree with you.
Well, okay, before you get into what you don't like about it, I'm going to say a couple things I do like about it. First of all, I finally figured out the fucking Christopher Nolan mumbly thing. All the artsy shit he talks about it is bullshit. Here's what it is. Are you guys familiar with Steve Albini?
No.
Steve Albini is a record producer, and he's known mostly for indie rock. Probably the most famous records he did was Nirvana's In Utero and the Pixies' Surferosa. And what he's known for doing a great drum sound, a really aggressive guitar sound, but what he's mostly known for is dynamics. Really lows, then really high. So, like, PJ Harvey's Rid of Me, like that girl's a great singer, but her voice is way down in the mix. So you fucking crank that shit to hear her voice. And then when the loud part kicks in, it's the coolest sounding thing you've ever heard in your life. I figured this out walking in at the Ridge, and the trailers were the loudest thing I'd ever heard in my whole goddamn life. And I realized, he's making everybody turn it up for this vocal, so when it gets to the loud part, it's
very effective.
It's so effective.
Yeah, which I will say, Ludwig Göransson's score in this movie is just...
It's great. It's definitely not something Hans Zimmer couldn't have done.
I mean, I think that's true. I would argue that I think, surprisingly, Ludwig Göransson, who I've never really heard be like a string guy before, relies far more on strings than I've ever heard Hans Zimmer use on a score before.
And one thing I also wanted to say about it, going into it, I did not know what I would think of Nolan's take on it. Because, The Dark Knight was sort of a closeted love letter to George W. Bush. Great movie, but I don't agree with its politics. The Dark Knight Rises is an open love letter to George W. Bush. Again, a movie me and like 3 other people love, but I don't know if I agree with its politics. So I didn't know if where he stood on the atomic bomb was going to be where I stood. But I really related to his take on the whole arc of the story.
I'd be interested to hear more on that, Hurt, because I feel like he doesn't really take much of a stance at all.
Well, I think he takes the stance that it seemed necessary at the time, but now maybe it was for the worst.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I agree with that. And I feel like everyone feels that way,
right?
Though. Like, the lead up to it...
Well, I thought he was going to totally take the stance of, if we didn't drop these bombs, more people were going to die. Mm-hmm. And it definitely does mention that at the time. But then you also get later in the movie when Oppenheimer says, I don't even know if that was true. Maybe this enemy was already beat. Mm-hmm. So...
What didn't you like?
And look, I felt almost the same way about Barbie as I felt about Oppenheimer, in that I came in with relatively pretty high expectations, I think, and it was just a movie. It was fine. I think it is. There's the trademark Nolan like jumping around time wise. There's a deposition thing. There's a congressional hearing, and then there's kind of like our main story that they're all just kind of jumbled together. But the thing that really surprised me about it is how like bog standard biopic it is to me.
I have a point on that when you're done. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. No, I like, especially the first hour in particular. And the first hour, it's so weird for a 3-hour movie to say, but the first hour feels like they just couldn't get it done fast enough.
Right.
Like, everybody's talking incredibly fast. There's all, like, quippy one-liners until we fucking get to something.
I loved it.
I did, too.
I fucking hated it.
I was like, this is a 3-hour movie I can watch. One made by someone with ADD.
Right.
I don't need Scorsese giving me an 18-minute scene. I need 18 seconds.
Right.
And I think part of it is kind of to your point, Christian, is that like I liked the second, like the last 2 hours better because it felt like slower down, more like character pieces. I think all the performances are excellent. I just don't know that it says anything. I don't know that it does anything. And I'm like, why did we spend all this time doing just like, I don't know, telling a very normal story? Like, I don't feel like there was a lot of takes. I don't feel like I got a lot of insight into like Oppenheimer or any of the characters as like men or people. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because I'm so much closer to death than you are, but like it's just like it was saying so much. It was like, to me, it was like it had so much to say. I was like, I got to watch this again to catch all the things it was saying.
Yeah, one of the big ones, for example, that I walked away from this movie talking about, which I'm going to both complain and compliment the same thing.
Okay.
Here, which is, I think one of the points of the movie is that no matter how well you mean, you can still hurt the people around you.
Right.
And even hurt yourself. For example, the hurting yourself part, Robert Oppenheimer, never a communist, never officially anyway.
Right.
And a devout, like, I don't want to say devout, but a Jewish man who felt very devoutly that the Germans needed to be stopped.
Right.
It feels like he's just doing something to entertain his interests and ends up destroying his career. The other part of that is how you hurt others. Of course, the easy analogy to the point Hurt was making earlier, is the atomic bomb.
Right.
And even his own words quoting the "I am become death" thing.
Twice in this fucking movie.
Okay, but listen.
I need to talk about that. That's the part.
We'll talk about all these things.
So I did not like that they put it in the middle of a sex scene. I thought it was an odd choice. But hold on just a second. But it's stuck with me since then, and this is exactly the point the movie is about. He doesn't know that he is going to be the reason this woman kills herself.
Right.
He doesn't understand that. And so instead of putting it when he's killed 250,000 Japanese people, putting it in this moment where he's unintentionally killed this woman gives us the exact same perspective in a much more intimate, small, quiet, personal moment. And to me, that hits better. I like that more.
They do it both times.
Here is my counterpoint to that. My least favorite part of all Biopic movies. Patton Oswalt calls it the moment of irony. I don't think that's an apt explanation, but I can't think of a better one. But it's where you meet the thing you're known for, but instead of it just being an idea you came up with through your work and your experiences, it's something that is brought to you and says something about your life beyond that. For example, you can't walk no line. Like, that doesn't take into account that song was written for a different woman. Mm-hmm. It was that she was a woman that he was cheating with, so it was the opposite of the message of that song. And it just leaves behind that Johnny Cash had just worked hard on his craft and wrote a terrific song.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the way to get me around that, show some titties. We get to that part, and I was like, I know this is the part of the movie I hate, but I'm really digging this part of the movie.
Yeah.
And to your point, Hurt, I felt like so many fucking things in this movie were just Hans Dice or Indy's hat. Just shit we gotta plug in there because it's the thing that you remember about him, and I feel like every single time the movie just stops, it's like, hey, remember this? And I mean, right. I think the "I am become death" quote is one of them. There's a whole ridiculous scene of him standing in his fucking Los Alamos house with like his hat and pipe and like a sunlit little desk thing, and he picks each one up and puts it on. Like, is he fucking getting ready for like? It's like the Last Samurai getting ready for battle, but with the fucking dumbass hat from his fucking biography picture. I don't know. There are like lines like, "I've always wanted to build something in Los Alamos," and then, we know he's going to build something in Los Alamos. That's fucking crazy.
Okay, but you understand, they built something in Los Alamos because he fucking chose Los Alamos.
I know, but how
else are you supposed to show that, Joseph? It's not going to do what you say.
Just do it, but you don't need the movie to be to have this he wants to build something in Los Alamos, and he's going to. He does do this thing that
it would be one thing if he were fucking fictional and we were teasing it, but the reason that whole place happened was because this dude wanted to do it there.
So you're saying there is a line of dialogue somewhere written down in his life where he turned to somebody and says, I always wanted to build something here in Los Alamos.
To fucking Los Alamos when he was 19 years old.
Sure,
the thing is, though, I bet he said 600 or 700 times in his life, someday I'm going to build something in Los Alamos. Because people don't have writers and they just say dumb shit over and over.
Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Whatever.
Listen, I want to build a house on a piece of property I don't yet own. But I've sure as fuck said, God, one day I'm going to own 5 acres. I'm going to build me a house on it.
Right.
That is not a ridiculous plot point.
I just feel like there are so many points earlier on that are either setups for, I don't know if reveal is the right word, but the mark out moments, like the line, or just setups for irony. And I guess that's just movie making. I don't know where they're warning Oppenheimer about his hubris and whatever. I don't know. A lot of it just fucking rubbed me as we're defining his life. Kind of what you're talking about. We know where it ends, so we're gonna write all these scenes in about a real man's life that make it seem like these things were inevitable.
Right.
They were always going to happen.
See, I don't take it like that at all in this movie. I take it to be going to the hubris thing. They are what causes his fall. And this is the part of the story that people don't fucking know. But when someone keeps it all in house like that, he makes all the decisions, and all those decisions are influenced by something personal, like forcing the government to accept your communist brother to go to the secret site where you're building a secret weapon. So one day the government can say, I don't know, man, sounds pretty fucking fishy. Right. You picked this place you wanted to build, made us bring your communist brother. By the way, 5 years later, the communists now fucking have one. Like, it's not building to the atomic bomb, it's building to his fall because he controlled the whole thing. Like, I don't know. I just totally see it completely different.
Obviously.
This is the most Siskel and Ebert we've ever gotten. I tell you a thing that I was sort of disappointed with, but again, it was just an expectation. I had watched some interviews with Robert Downey Jr. going into it where he had said that Christopher Nolan didn't allow him to do his Robert Downey Jr. things, and he had to sort of act more in
Totally
it.
disagree.
That was not true.
Not true at all.
Yeah.
Like, every chance he did that sort of back into the left motion does when he said a zinger. Like, there was never a moment where I wasn't like, that's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Did Gary Oldman take hell out of this movie? Because it threw me through a fucking loop.
I don't know a lot about Truman. Was Truman that big of an asshole?
I certainly believe it.
Apparently,
he dropped the atomic bomb.
That's a great point.
I know that when I watched Selma, which I don't think is a well-made movie. I think there's a good movie made about that, and they didn't make it. But one of the big things that took me out of it was making Johnson the heel, because that's just not factual. That's just not. No one else could have got us to civil rights except for Johnson. No other president.
Apparently, the quote at the end of the "Don't let that crybaby back in my office" is a real quote. So I don't know about the rest of the stuff.
I'm just wondering if there's some old coot who watched this and that just ruined it for him. I know Harry Truman wouldn't like that. So,
I don't think you can defend a guy who, again, not only chose to dropped it twice.
The only person in history.
The only guy ever to do it.
That's a really good point. And Gary Oldman was just Gary Oldman in a get-up in this.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like he was playing a character.
It didn't bother me.
No, it didn't really me either.
Oh, yeah, it bothered me. Because it felt like Gary Oldman, who I think is an incredible actor, sometimes can be, I don't know, a caricature rather than a character.
Right, totally.
And this felt like a character.
Right.
Like, he just wasn't, I don't know.
Like, I know he had the whole movie, but he did not give this the care he gave to Churchill.
Yeah, correct.
Who was also a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but the atomic bomb explosion, man. That whole scene is
great. Absolutely.
I'm going to say it's not the best depiction of Los Alamos I've ever seen.
What would be?
There is an episode of Twin Peaks: The Return where it's a whole episode in black and white, and it's not spoiling a movie a series that's plot is almost impossible to follow, to say that it's sort of the origin story, and their origin story is Los Alamos, and they show it in black and white, and it looks way cooler than this. I'm just saying, I think maybe they should have switched who was black and white and who was color in this. Maybe Oppenheimer should have been black and white, and Robert Downey Jr. should have been color.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I've heard it's the whole subjective versus objective thing. I don't think they did that very well.
No, I don't think so either, because my guess on
He's not in those scenes either. That's my other problem.
Who?
With it. Oppenheimer.
Oh, my thing that I thought it was going to be was all the black and white scenes were going to be things that were on written record. Because that makes the most sense to me. That's what I thought they meant by objective.
Because I think that's how it is on JFK, right?
Something similar to that.
Yeah. I was thinking that stenographer was not fucking doing anything in the background. But then I remembered that there was fucking shorthand for stenographers. Like, maybe he is. Maybe he only needs to push 2 keys to write 3 words.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some T9 action going
I'm
on.
like, I don't really want to challenge Nolan's historical accuracy on that.
Stenographers.
Yeah. Having said JFK, the Oliver Stone version of this movie would be fucking bonkers. And I wish it existed.
Me too, because I've said this many times before. It's one of my go-tos. Oliver Stone maybe doesn't do the best cinematography, but he does the most.
Oh, man. Especially for a guy who fucking loves Vladimir Putin so much. I really want to know his opinion on the atomic bomb.
So speaking of I don't know, speaking of anything, but how awkward do we think that deposition sex scene was to film? Because I thought about that a lot.
Sarah's convinced it was CGI, and
No.
I'm like, there's no way that this
Fucking
kook
way.
didn't make this happen in real life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He says there's no CGI in the movie, so not in that scene.
It's something so funny to me because I don't know. I've never done it, so I'm not an actor, but I know general sex scenes are really awkward anyway.
Right.
Because like
That had to be worse.
Like just thinly behind that fourth wall in the darkness, there's 30 people that are staring at you, pointing things at you, whatever. And I get that is awkward, but there's just something about everybody else being in like fucking suits,
right? Being
that makes it
overdressed,
like so much, feels so much more pervy.
Because also in between scenes, they got up in their suits.
Yeah.
They got up naked.
Jennifer Lawrence has this great interview where she talks about sex scenes being terrible because you never know, like, if you're giving too much or giving too little. You don't know, and like, at least you don't have that worry here. But absolutely, you feel like the odd man out.
I tell you what, I honestly, more than like the exposure, I felt bad for Florence Pugh though. Fucking Cillian Murphy must have some bony ass hips.
Yeah,
like see, those had to have been cutting on him, cutting in her on that chair, man.
Apparently, Oppenheimer might have actually been schizophrenic, and the whole poisoning the apple thing was just a figment of his imagination.
Right.
I see.
So I don't know. Maybe kind of shitty to mental health to include that in the movie, but we don't know.
It was definitely a weird way to basically start the movie and then have nothing else like that ever occur.
Yeah. Well, that he has the capacity to kill.
No, that's a good point, Jones.
Yeah.
You watched this movie thoroughly.
Oh, I told you, I really fucking liked it.
I really loved it too. I mean, it's going to be hard for this one not to be.
Oh, it's Nolan #1 for me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, I was going to say movie of the year, but then I remembered how weepy I got during Guardians.
Inception might beat it, but I don't know. I will also
see. I put Prestige over Inception.
Woo! Prestige is great too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a few weeks ago I talked about how my parents split up because my brother was dead, so I have a little bit of bias on that.
Right.
My first real adult job was dropping bombs on people, so it feels applicable. I have absolutely, this is a 100% true story, sat in a room, I was in Honolulu, Hawaii, the fucking commander of the Pacific, this was a fucking Navy captain at the time, and there was like 5 of us, and I won't tell you all what we were doing. We were mission planning for something, and I did not speak because I was nobody, but I was from the targeting shop and I was like myself, an E5, and an officer who were presenting what the rest of the targeting shop had fucking put together, and the officer was like, so we think we should do this so we don't really kill a lot of civilians, and no shit, that dude was like, okay, but what if we did? Like, that is absolutely the mentality of like senior military defense officials. You have to have people who say, like, again, my whole career field was dropping bombs, but part of that was quantifying, the kind of effect that would have on a civilian populace, so that you could say, listen, I know you really want this bad guy dead, but you're going to poison that water for like 6 months.
Right.
You're going to kill a lot more people than that. Maybe that one bad guy not so bad.
Right.
Maybe it's fine if we let him live.
Right.
Yeah, no, this shit absolutely happens.
Well, I mean, if you've had like any shitty corporate job, you've dealt with some shitty corporate person who you've said, hey, maybe we shouldn't fuck people over that like this. And then they're like, but probably we will. Yeah. So, I mean, I can see how that would be.
Do you want a job tomorrow?
Amplified by 100 when you're dealing with lives.
Yeah. Pretty serious stuff.
I don't know. I still don't know why this movie had to be 3 hours long.
I don't see how it could have been a second less, and I could have went an hour more, I swear to God. And nobody hates long movies more than me. It's my fucking cross to bear.
Yeah.
The hatred of why does every movie have, not just 3 hours, 2.5 hours? Why does any movie need to be more than 2 hours?
I think that's pretty shared between everyone on this podcast. And yeah, I also agree with you. I did not feel like 3 hours for me. Right. I would watch it again tomorrow. It was awesome.
Y'all are wild. I don't
Is it better or worse than Transformers?
Oh, no, it's better than Transformers. It's better than Tenet.
It's definitely better than Tenet. Tenet is dog shit.
I can't decide if it's better than Interstellar.
It's definitely better than Interstellar. They beat a black hole with love. Come on now.
I don't know. Like, there's nothing here to learn for me.
Fucking that movie has Jessica Chastain in it.
How is there nothing to learn from this?
I'm glad you're so morally superior to the rest of us, Joseph.
It's about something that happened once ever, and trying to make it not happen again. How is there nothing to learn from that?
I guess so. I don't know. It's just like, I guess it's not the least surprising result because it's history. It's a real thing that happened. But I don't know. It's just like, guy gets involved in a thing kind of over his head. He gets involved in the work gets taken away from him. He regrets the result of the thing that he didn't really think about the consequences of. Why do we need 3 hours for that?
I will say this, like, I was going to say, what twists are going to be? What, is he going to join the Avengers? But I say that as the joke at the end of every movie. I'll lean over to Sarah. I was like, do you want to hang out and see if Nick Fury asks Barbie to join the Avengers? But in this one, wouldn't it have been awesome if Nick Fury would have asked him to join the Avengers? I mean, wouldn't it have been great if he undercut this whole 3-hour epic with a joke at the end of the credits? We haven't even talked about Emily Blunt also.
Well,
she was fucking awesome.
Let's fucking talk about that, because why is she in this goddamn movie?
I just don't think he didn't want anyone who hasn't or at some point probably will win an Academy Award.
Maybe.
I think
I think she's great. She just inhabits this very weird space of she exists behind closed doors exclusively. The only thing that she is there for is to, in between a lot of legal scenes, be like the voice of the audience. Be like, why aren't you standing up for yourself? Why aren't you doing the right thing?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's not what Emily sounds like. You
should cut that out, bro.
You're a lovely woman.
I will kill you if you cut that out. That has to be in the Barbie podcast.
Double it up.
Your imitation of a shrill woman.
But I don't know. Like,
he hates Barbie and fucking.
She's just like a weird. She's not really a person. She's not really a wife. She's just kind of a representation of either Oppenheimer's indignation or I guess the audience's indignation for like his position. But she doesn't really exist for any other reason.
I think she exists for a perfect reason, to make this movie personal. Everything else, even Florence Pugh, who is portrayed as his more true love, is part of the plot to the atomic bomb. She isn't. She's just his wife who's tired of him always not being home and being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
I think that's essential to this story. And it's particularly essential to when she's been such a fucking nag for the movie. And you get her in that scene where she's taking up for him, and you immediately turn on her. It's like, oh, she's fucking awesome. She's had to put up with a bunch of shit. No wonder she's been a dick to this dude.
And yet still committed.
Still loves him,
I'll say two things on this. I love the point Hurt just made. I do also think that it is and kind of maybe to Joseph's point, there's a lesson, everyone knows it, do we really need 3 hours to teach it or whatever. I also think she is a good example of people who could fall into the exact same trap as Oppenheimer, because she was a part of the Communist Party.
Right.
She leaves. She never really questions the work they're doing in Los Alamos. She seems to be right on board with it. So, and until the end, whereas he maybe is ridden by the guilt, she is like, fucking stand up for yourself and just do something about it. So maybe the outcomes are different, but she follows a very similar, I think, trajectory.
Right.
And I do think the mirror there has a place. Maybe not necessary. It is fucking bonkers that the first hour of this movie, she is in the background of every one of those fucking scenes and doesn't say a goddamn word. That is Emily Blunt. She's fucking Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And you give her no lines for 60 plus minutes of this movie.
And you were paying her to do that.
Yes.
I wonder if that's a good day at work. You mean for like a third of my job, I'm not going to have to say shit? Sign me up.
Enough of it is it out of focus, too, where you could be like, is it Emily Blunt? But then you're like, no, it's her. She's just not saying, like, that was trippy to me. I don't know. I love this movie.
I also love this movie.
I had an additional thought specifically about that.
I'm sure it was bad.
I don't remember. Just a nitpicky thing, and this is also a weird thing to me, specifically that Christopher Nolan chooses to do, because it's a generally accepted thing, but Christopher Nolan is all about, like, he's big on exceptional people. Like, that's very much what this fucking movie is about. But again, it's very, very biopic. It's like, the troubled genius, he's like a philanderer, he's whatever. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of shit that bothers me about this movie. Which, again, I think is better than Transformers. But it's weird to me that it's still important for him to be like, he's a physicist who's not great at math. They said that like a couple different times. There's a time where he has a conversation with Einstein, and they're both like, "We're not math people," and I think that's just fucking weird, because that's like a we don't want this person to be too smart. We want this person to be accessible to our audience. He's like me. He doesn't do math good.
He's an ideas man. He proved that with Fuck Mountain.
I got nothing after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just strange to me that like we feel the need to like dumb him down to make him like a more accessible person. Like, oh yeah, they're all these smart physicists, but this guy is not that good at math. He's still got something that's worthwhile.
So I do think you guys know this movie came from fucking Batman, whatever, Pattinson giving Nolan American Prometheus as a rap gift.
Right.
That's a big fucking plot point in American Prometheus, is that Oppenheimer is bad at math. So I almost feel like he really latched onto that, and then when it was repeated 500 more times in that book, he was like, I gotta hit home on this one.
I should say that reminded me of another thing I wanted to... Because it seems like a big part of your problem with this movie is that it was obvious. I'm not misreading that,
No,
right?
I don't think so, yeah.
Another one... Like, there's two origins to this movie. There's that, and the other one was Nolan was talking to his daughter, and basically he was talking to her about about nuclear weapons, and she was like, well, none of my friends worry about that at all, and he was thinking maybe they should. You know? So, I mean, maybe there's a reason he made this a little more obvious than the other things he's made.
Somebody in this movie does say nuclear, and it does bother me.
They say Hiroshima, which bothers me.
Well, yeah, but that is how... was it Matt Damon who says that, or is it... I can't remember.
I think Truman. I don't know.
It feels like something that Matt Damon would say.
It's Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Matt Damon, in his old age, has turned into a Greatest Generation person.
Oh, 100%.
Like, he just looks like someone from 1945.
For a guy the Greatest Generation absolutely would have made fun of. Right. At the time Good Will Hunting came out. No, the thing that bothered me is I don't feel like we needed the full heel turn for Downey at the end. I think that undercuts it for me because I like the idea of you are slowly letting the audience in, like just dropping little hints until it's more and more obvious that he was the one that was sabotaging Oppenheimer's reputation and career. But instead of like just kind of letting you realize it and like let the thing go on as is, they do the full, he goes back to the office, he does his fucking evil villain monologue speech where he's mostly like not wrong, but because of the way he's saying it, he sounds like the bad guy, and then Rami Malek comes out after that and specifically says all the things that he's already said are bad again, so you're clear that oh no, he was the bad guy, he did the bad stuff. I don't know. It was again very on the nose to me, and I feel like there was a more satisfying way to do that, where like we as the audience get to discover and like realize, oh no, he fucked Oppenheimer, as opposed to him and several other people telling us repeatedly.
So I agree with some of what you're saying. I disagree with it. I don't like that bit either.
Yeah,
I don't really like any of the hearing bits because I feel like the movie should be about Oppenheimer dealing with his or maybe the wrongdoing he didn't understand that was wrong. Like, he didn't understand that there are consequences to his actions. He just made choices off the hip. And while, yes, I think they make that jury security clearance review all fucking evil, when you actually like look on paper at the shit, you kind of like, I mean, they kind of got a fucking point.
Yeah.
Like, as a person who's had a security clearance for fucking 15 years, I absolutely would not hang out with a communist person. Like, it just is not something. I'm not going to hang out with someone from the Soviet Union or communist China. Like, that's just would not be a decision I would make. Or, hypothetically, if someone said, if you want to tell me what you're doing at that super secret place you work at, I'm just saying you could. Probably also would say something about that.
Right.
And so, like, when you point out that, hey, these are not good decisions that you're making, and then you're like, well, he really only would have gotten in trouble if fucking Robert Downey Jr., if Tony Stark hadn't narked on him, he would have been totally fine. I think that undercuts the point. And the point's important because it has everything to do with the fucking atomic bomb.
Well, okay, then do you guys think that basically it was all Matt Damon's fault undercuts the point? Because Matt Damon chooses him specifically because he's compromised. Specifically because he can control him because of that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's part of that.
It kind of takes some of the burden off of him.
But again, I think that's historical. So, what do you do? But, I mean, again, I don't... That's not enough for me to complain. I thought that if any part of the movie was unnecessary, it was that part.
I've just realized the person we missed because there's a lot of fucking people in this movie. I know it should bother me more to see Casey Affleck on screen at this point. I understand that he's more canceled. But I fucking hate Josh Peck so much. I wish that guy would fall into a black hole.
I don't think he's a good actor.
No, he's not. He's not good at anything.
I don't know why he keeps getting roles.
He's just a fat guy that got skinny and thinks he's attractive now and good at acting.
What's the guy with the big head's name?
That's a lot of people.
The Terminator. He has like a really plain name. He's the prosecutor at the hearing.
Oh, yeah. Not Joel Edgerton.
Not Joel Edgerton, but a name like
yeah.
that. It's such just a white dude name. Why can't any of us think of it? We're all white dudes.
Jason Clarke.
There's
Yeah,
Jason Clarke.
good job.
I know a dude named Jason Clarke. Like, that's how white a dude am I.
You're half of a Jason Clarke.
I'm happy to Jason Clarke, exactly. Yeah, I'd forgotten that guy exists. Where had he been?
Yeah.
I don't know
Good
if-
in it, too. I hate his guts.
I know we hate his guts. He's very good at that.
So many handsome yet weirdly off-putting looking guys in this. Who do we think wins in that category? And we got to leave Cillian out. It's too cheap to give it to him.
It's either Malik or Dane DeHaan. It's got to be one of those two
I think
guys.
It's Malik. I think Benny Safdie's up there, who plays what is it, Teller Tellman, whatever.
every dude in this
Yeah.
movie fits in that category.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just straight.
That's what we should instead of talking about the movie, we should have just been ranking the
How
guys
weird
from creepy to least creepy.
We've talked about this movie 3 times as long as we talked about Barbie. All the patriarchy shit that Barbie talks about is 100% accurate.
Well, it was also 3 times as long.
That's true, too.
And also, we had more of a violent disagreement about this.
Yeah.
I had one more thing I was going to ask based on... Oh, yeah. How much... Cillian Murphy, what do you think? Like 115 in this
He's
movie?
very skinny.
He's so skinny, and I didn't realize to this that he's kind of short.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not a tall
Every
man.
single person in this movie, except for Florence Pugh, was taller than him.
He just wears those big hats the whole time.
He's just lean, so he looks
Yeah.
tall.
Yeah, I don't know. Great movie.
Yeah,
Loved it.
better than Transformers.
Can't wait to watch it again.
It's better than Transformers.
What movie would you put above it so far this year?
Didn't Spider-Verse come out this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Spider-Verse. I might put Guardians over it.
I mean, like, it's neck and neck with Guardians for me.
I think... I don't know. It's hard because like I know there is a distinction between a dumb superhero movie
Right, totally.
that has me by like the IP that I love, but I also like there's the same kind of thing by just having it. It's Nolan and it's all the stars. I think that is going a long way to being like we don't actually. It's hard to separate the actual quality versus the prestige involved. You know.
Well, and I mean, my defense for having it neck, because there is a part of me that wants to say Oppenheimer because I want people to think I'm smart and not just a mark for comic book shit. But, I mean, one of my defense for Guardians 3 being a real movie is that I felt real emotions watching it.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just, watching a kid slam action figures together.
I would say there are like 4 or 5 like truly good or great movies I've watched this year, and 2 of them are comic book movies.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would think would push Spider-Verse down for me is it's half a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a whole story. It's half a story.
The bigger thing I've got to work through personally is not comparing it as far as this year, but as far as recent biopics. Do I love this or Elvis more? I don't know.
Oh, it's Elvis.
That's hard for me.
I'd rewatch Elvis 4 times before.
Oh, I know I'll watch rewatch.
I've never rewatched it.
Dude, Oppenheimer is already so far behind, it could never catch up.
Yeah.
I watched it once.
I've
one
watched
other
it
time.
a few times.
It's like The Office for you. You just put it on and it's just in the
Basically,
background.
yes.
Well, Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer.
I
we
think
did it.
we have said enough.
We have said enough, and now we're going to say more things.
but about different things.
Correct. But before we can get into what we've been watching, we did get an email.
Woo-hoo.
I finally remembered before we started doing it.
All right.
It is from our old pal Susie, and I would read you the whole thing, but she's kind of sent a whole manifesto in rebuttal to our last, what we've been watching, on why people watch The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, dear.
Man, Susie hates my opinion.
Well, they're bad. That's all it is.
First of all, I should say, when I went so hard on that, I didn't think anybody who loved it was watching. Or I wouldn't have, honestly.
Her main point is that she doesn't necessarily think that it's like people watch it for like the science jokes specifically. It's more the same kind of thing we watch general sitcoms for. It's like, a group of friends in their 30s experiencing normal ass life, and then the sciencey shit is just kind of set decoration.
That just doesn't happen enough in that show.
Sure. But also that she says that, it's got geeky stuff in it. There's things that she has learned from the show that she didn't know otherwise about physics and science and geek things that she enjoys. So,
Has Susie watched all of it? I'm going to text her.
I don't know. You can find out.
I'll say this, and I may have said the same thing in the last one, but I'm sure cops hate watching T.J. Hooker or whatever
probably.
crappy cop show you grew up watching. Just because
Night
they
Court.
know that it's not correct. So that's probably why this show annoys me.
I don't know
Not really
shit
squat.
about running a physics lab.
But I'm saying the geek stuff.
Yeah. Well, Susie, I'm just going to keep giving opinions that you hate.
I try to never go hard on anything I think someone is listening to that they might love. So I feel bad about that one, genuinely.
It's fine. She'll be all right. Guys, I honestly don't remember. We haven't recorded in like almost a month.
Yeah.
There's been a whole fucking strike since then.
I
feel iffy about us even doing the podcast because there's a fucking strike, but whatever. Who cares?
Well, I mean,
we're
not getting paid.
That's true. That's a good point.
We are getting,
and no one else is going to take our job.
Yeah, it is funny to me because I personally, the last two episodes are two Indiana Jones episodes, are two of my like personal favorite episodes we've done. Both like I enjoyed doing them, and I feel like they're like good episodes. Then we just like fucked off for 3 weeks for no reason.
So the only thing I truthfully remember watching, I saw Wicked. That was cool on stage.
Right on.
Highly recommend that. That's better than Transformers. That's worth your time. The only thing I remember watching on TV was I watched the Netflix documentary Quarterbacks, which came out at a great time in that like there's like the first or second week of July, which is just the dead zone for NFL anything.
And it's just close enough that you're like tingling for it.
Correct. Yeah. You're getting the itch. Like it's like a dead. Like baseball had come back, and then baseball had kind of started to die off a little bit. And I don't know. It's just the worst time of the year for sports. It's terrible. But it follows Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota, who was with my Atlanta Falcons last year, which is great because it's one godsend of a player, one guy who's the definition of mediocre, and one dude who can't keep a job. And you absolutely see why those three are the way they are. And I would classify it like this. There is natural talent. To be in the NFL, you have to be good, right? Like you have to be a professional athlete, you have to at least be good at what you do.
Yep.
And you can either be good because you're smart, or you can be good because you're physically gifted, and in the very rare cases, you're both.
Right.
And that's Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. He's both smart and incredibly naturally gifted. He absolutely like studies and is inventive and is part of the playmaking decision, and all of that's really interesting. There's Kirk Cousins, who I really don't know what the physical gift is, but you can tell he works really fucking hard at his craft. Like, he wants to be good. He puts in the work. Then there's Marcus Mariota, who I have no fucking idea what his, like, preparation was. I'm just going to feel it out. You know, on my lunch break, my wife's going to say some shit. I'm going to repeat it back. That should be good. And the results for all three of those things show on the field. One of those guys won the Super Bowl. Another one of those guys was bitched halfway through the year. And another guy had decent success.
Yep.
If your opinion on those three guys does not change at all in that show. And in that regard, I'm going to say worse than Transformers. It's a waste of your time because you already know that. This is just a confirmation of that. But
so basically, you don't like it for the same reason Joseph didn't like Oppenheimer.
Correct. Exactly like that.
Way to tie it in. I was gonna give it shit because I remember when Mariota and Jameis Winston got drafted.
1 and 2.
It was supposed to be like the next Manning Brady for the next generation.
Both Heisman Trophy winners.
Yeah, and they both absolutely like just fucking disappointed. But you know what? They're both still playing, so they're like.
Is Winston still in the league?
Yeah, I think he's still in the Saints.
He's not.
No, I don't know where he is then.
Yeah, Derek Carr is quarterback for the Saints. Taysom Hill's the backup.
Well, yeah, but what about a real backup?
God, don't even get. You know how I feel about Taysom.
Anyway, do you have anything else?
No, that's
okay.
it.
I think the thing I've watched during our long absence that I feel most worthy of talking about is I've watched the new Superman cartoon, My Adventures with Superman.
It's so fucking good.
It is very good.
Yeah.
I wonder. There's so many things I wonder about it though, because we say on here or not, we use the phrase "Who is this for?"
Yeah,
I know exactly who this is for. But I don't know if it reaches them.
I've wondered the same thing because I also like it splits that difference really not well, the opposite of well of like it's still kid friendly,
right? For
sure,
right.
But I definitely feel like content wise, it's targeting you and I.
Who I think it's for, this is for, is anyone who was 12 years old when Toonami was fucking banging.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's why I love
me.
it. Yeah.
I think it's weird that it's on Adult Swim because there's nothing on it.
About it
they show like one dead body, but it's not integral to the story. They could have just showed the people's reaction to the dead body.
But let me offer a counterpoint. I agree with what you're saying. Totally. There's no like cursing in it. There's no
Right.
like blood and gore. But there's that one bit where like Lois takes off her top in front of Clark, even though she's facing the opposite direction.
That's true.
You're like, that dude wants to bang.
And that's very anime. That's one of the,
Yeah.
I love it. I'm such a mark for the 90s Superman cartoons that it's hard for me to even give another Superman cartoon a try. And I like that they just go completely different.
Yep.
This is basically almost an office sitcom with Superman in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I have one complaint, and maybe they'll do this later, but I really wish since it's My Adventures from Superman, they'd really do some episodes from the point of view of Lois or Jimmy.
Yeah.
In that you're seeing it from the point of view of a person who thinks Clark and Superman are separate people.
Yeah.
And you never see them as the same person in that episode. I don't know that I've ever seen that done, and it seems like this would be the place to do that.
Oh, Jack Quaid's great as Superman.
He's very
Jack
good.
Quaid is great.
That's weird casting to me at first, but he does a great job.
I tell you, I've only watched the first 3 episodes, but one of the things I think is a great decision, the thing that the 90s cartoon did so well is the origin for all Superman's villains. They leveled up all of Superman's villains. I like in this so far, they've said, we're just not going to bother with that. It's just tech. We know we can't hang on that, so all the villains just found Energain tech.
I know that it is a tough comparison because like the character designs from the old 90s one are very good.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't love all of the villain designs.
Yeah, I don't either.
But it's fine.
I liked their take, which, and this probably could be because the 90s never did this villain, but I really liked their take on Silver Banshee. It was a very anime take on Silver Banshee.
Yeah.
Is it is made by an anime studio, isn't it? Not?
I have no idea.
I think it is.
I just, again, it's seen for a younger audience. But,
Anyone can watch it.
But it's on during Adult Swim.
Yeah, it's weird.
But again, I think it's for. I mean, I know we all enjoy it, but I think it's for us when we were kids, and I don't know if it's for kids now.
See, but I think that is a really fun idea to be
Right.
like, I'm going to make a show that adults now would have loved when they were children,
Right.
And I'm not going to make it for them being adults,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to
Totally, that's a good
connect
point, yeah.
to the thing that they fell in love with these characters with.
I guess my worry is I just want this show to succeed, and I'm worried that it's
yeah, I'm
not.
also worried about that.
I mean, that's kind of 2 seasons guaranteed.
Yeah.
1
Okay,
and 2.
cool.
But it was supposed to be on Max,
Right.
and it was part of the whole big cuts.
Right.
And the way they fucking found something to do, because the first season was done, was put it on Adult Swim. That's not encouraging.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I do think, again, if you're making it for those 12-year-old Toonami kids, most of those kids grew up to watch Adult Swim.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Toonami still exists, even though it's a completely different entity now. So, I mean, I understand the strategy. I just don't know if I have faith that it's going to work.
Man, I just want to point something out here. How great of a fucking, marketing decision is it if you're trying to create an anime block of television that you take the guy who is the voice of Spike Spiegel and then you make him his own fucking character who, is... I don't even know what Tom was on Toonami, but, it was just that
Right.
thing you love, we're going to make this other character and
Right.
connect it right to it so that you love all these other things. A fucking genius decision.
Look, I've got a video essay for you. I think you'll like about Toonami, but
I mean, Toonami, you guys were still young when Toonami
Correct.
hit,
I
right?
was 10.
Like
when
I was probably in my first apartment when Toonami hit, and I still watch that shit every day because it was just super fun.
Yeah.
Like it was,
probably 97 or 98 is when I first really got into Toonami.
I could probably do a whole episode on Toonami. That was a good time.
I can tell
yes,
you
sir.
specifically, Goku was on Snake Way.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. That's funny. Did I have anything else about that? Oh, I was going to say the show might not get canceled just because the internet loves the Lois Lane design so fucking much.
I mean,
They love Korean Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that was the part that was going to be the hardest sell for me because I love Daniel Delaney Lois Lane so much. I don't think any live action, anybody's ever done that character there. One other, but I dig this.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to say about it. The opening theme, even though it breaks my Superman theme rule, is a banger.
What's your rule?
It's not even my rule. It's Bruce Timm's rule. Any Superman theme has to have a 3-note pattern that you can sing Superman to. And it does not have.
Should have written him a letter.
Right.
Anything else for you, Art?
No, that's it.
All right. I
Just want to talk about some Oppenheimer some more.
Yep. I owe our listener, I still don't know if it's Bill or Billy that I should call you. I was introduced to you as Billy. I owe Billy an apology because I watched his Gundam show, 08th MS Team, I think is what it was called, from the 90s. And it is the best Gundam show that I've seen. It really leans into more of like the military side of it. They're like essentially just a squadron on deployment out in a place they don't want to be, and bonding over kind of their mutual misery, and also like, why are we in this war in the first place? There's like a star-crossed love between opposing sides. It's pretty fucking good. Better than Transformers and the best Gundam show. So
right on.
Good rec. The only other thing that I think is of note, I've been recently doing, is I bought the original BioShock for $7 on PS4.
Classic.
It's
bro.
fucking good.
It's good.
I watched a good friend play it years ago, but I'd never played it myself. And yeah, I mean, it's like a very cool atmosphere. And all the other ones are also like $10, so I think I will probably just power through those in my own time in the coming weeks.
BioShock is one of those things that that's one of the last things I really got into before I kind of lost interest in video games.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that hasn't been a movie. All the like things
sense.
they've turned into movies, that one's just begging to. Speaking of playing old video games, I bought a game called Transformers Devastation. Do you guys remember this?
No, sir.
I don't know even how many years ago it was, but it's basically done in all the original animated series designs. And it's like, do you remember there was a Hulk game that was just you went around breaking shit as the Hulk? Yeah. It's that. It's a fucking delight.
That sounds fun.
It's what you remember the old cartoon being without going back and watching it. But highly recommend it. Transformers Devastation. Better than Transformers.
Better than Transformers. There you go.
Yay.
All right. So next week, I don't know if is there any movies or anything we want to talk about.
Well, we were going to try to see Ninja Turtles this weekend.
Oh yeah, we could try Ninja Turtles. Also, we haven't done news in a long time. There's probably some news to talk about.
I say come Monday, if we've seen Ninja Turtles, we do Ninja Turtles, and if we haven't, we do news.
Okay.
To Joseph's point, we haven't talked about them fucking casting Superman yet. Like,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But
and we have a lot of retractions to do on Fantastic Four casting.
so many, bro.
I'm so excited. I want to do some retractions.
So maybe we'll just do news.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. But thank you, everybody, for listening to our, it wasn't that much longer than usual Barbenheimer episode.
It was more emotional than usual.
Yeah. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want to tell us your opinions on Oppenheimer and who is the creepiest guy in it, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Real Phonies, and Instagram, Real_Phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for our art, Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.